Aloha, everyone out there. Welcome back to my show, the Dennis James Lee Podcast. And this is our third episode. I can't believe we are at our third episode already. But we just wanted to really continue our conversation with my mother, Okhui Lee, especially about her new book that just came out called A Girl from Busan. And the reason why we wanted to really talk about this book and all the things that she's done in her life is we feel that it's besides the nitty-gritty and the life story and the challenges and the drama that's associated with the books and its storyline, there's a lot to do with how we came out of that muck,
it's just like a spiritual
healing. Yeah, exactly. That was very important. How the spiritual aspects has really brought us out of that situations in life and literally saved us from that darkness. But first of all, in the last few episodes, we talked about, the bar life, her time when she was a burlesque dancer, and in those times she had to do what she had to do in terms of, getting the jobs that she could with a limited amount of education and limited amount of being able to speak English. So it was quite an accomplishment in her life story. But there's always a purpose. There's always an aim to go forward in life, with the heart that is set to do good for the family and good for everyone else who are associated with us. So the first question I wanted to ask you, Mom, is, we talked about extensively about the bar and that time period. So I just want to know, after you retired from that business, what did you do? And can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, as I said the last episode, and I retired many years for bar business after that. Then I met this gentleman named Harold K. Lewis, and he became my boyfriend at the time, and he took me a lot of cruises and, luxury life, trip to Vegas. Then for a while, I got tired of that. It's a play like Rich and Famous. Then after that, he bought a lot of jewelries and, whatever, just so, rich people do, whatever.
So you had kind of a lavish lifestyle.
Yes. Then after that, I still felt empty. And then what am I going to do? Then meantime, my son, my son Dennis want to pursue as an actor. So I say my heart always to become an entertainer, and always I encourage to become I'm very opposite as any other traditional Korean mother. They always want to, like my mother, his grandma, want to children become more doctors and accountants and, management on the business side. But I have a different take. I always like a show business. That flair never left me since I was a dancer, and I exposed by Hollywood lifestyle in 70s, so early 70s. So late 80s. No, not. Can you erase that?
Yeah, no.
So actually late 60s and early 70s, during the Hollywood, I learned about this entertainment business. So I always have that desire to become a part of entertainment business. So when Dennis was, interested in this kind of type of business, and my mother always against me, that's not right things to do. But, my dream, just through my dream, I want to build my dream through my sons.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I think, that's kind of true in the sense of, I think all of our dreams are pretty much wanting to be in that business, because my father was in that business too, and he was actually an actor producer,
yes.
right? Yeah, so but he died very young. So the question I want to ask for you is like I know that when we first started out, we actually went to Hollywood.
No. Before
yeah.
that, we started Wayne Ward.
Oh yeah,
acting
Wayne Ward
class.
acting class. Yeah, we took a lot of acting
I
classes.
took a lot of hours acting classes, and with the local kids, and so I was pretty much involved with it for several years, taking an acting class and drama and all that. And so that just planted the seeds. So when you was, kind of a desire to go to Hollywood, I say I back you 100%. So, but I really didn't know what we were getting into.
Yeah, it was kind of.
So first time,
maybe we should have been a doctor instead.
No.
It would have been easier.
As an acting coach, he always told us what to prepare before you go Hollywood. First, you gotta get SAG cards, union card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you can, ready. You have to have a car.
Mm-hmm.
You can live in the car. You don't have to have an apartment.
Pursuing acting.
Yeah,
in
pursuing
LA.
actor. So at least you can go audition.
Yeah, let me just clarify a little bit. Okay, so this was an acting class that was in Honolulu, Hawaii. It was under Wayne Ward. He had a bunch of students, local actors from Hawaii, who all wanted to pursue the Hollywood dream one day. So there was a bunch of us, like maybe about 5 of us that actually moved over there, right? And then you actually helped. You saw this as an opportunity for me to go up there to kind of plant some roots up there so that we could pursue the business, right? So so you can go forward and tell them a little bit about what happened in LA.
So first you got there, you got to get an apartment. And in the meantime, a couple local kids could stay together to save money.
What year was this, by the way?
What year was that?
Yeah, what year? I forgot. It was 1996 or 1998. Yeah.
No, I don't remember. Can you cut that part?
No, this is live, so you got to keep going.
Okay. Anyway, I'm getting older, forget things. So anyway, we went there. No, he went there. He moved back. Everything got an apartment. First they get another one cars, and so you need a car, very important as an actor. So I know some actors can sleep in the car. I find it out later. Then anyway, got an apartment, and so he had a couple roommates that they could stay actually free. Then all the dream is as pursuing as an actor. So we were back and forth daily, and how it's going auditions. So he ended up audition at least 10 and 12 audition every day. So most time he had a good audition, most of getting very close to get the part. But at the time, that not that many Asian parts, right?
Yeah.
But he just
I always end up playing bad guys. But what were you doing in Hawaii when I was up here?
No, I was doing just I went to community college. So I enrolled the community college, 2-year KCC. So I was studying English, ESOL, English as second language, because I want to pursue as an actress as well.
Yeah. So the question then, and I know that, of course I was up there and pursuing, got an agent and all that kind of stuff. And, we all did that. We all walked around dropping off our pictures and resumes and realizing that it's tough business.
So anyway, but we used to just before audition, and we used to just on the phone we practice dialogue. So I kind of had fun doing
it was fun. Yeah, but but we want to really talk about how you came up, because my career acting and stuff like that kind of a little boring. But what happened was eventually this is the crazy part that happened when you came up, because we were supposed to do an independent film
No,
with
before
James
that,
Nam. Remember James Nam?
No. Every time I go to LA, I have to fill the refrigerator empty, everything empty. So every time I go there, then get the started so they can go free. Don't worry about food, so they can have that mindset, so they can concentrate on reading and studying and acting.
Yeah,
so you went a lot of casting. Yeah. So every time I try to fill out the gas and also food refrigerator. You remember that?
Yeah, I think I remember that. But also that's a mom remembers that kind of stuff more. But but what about? Let's get to the story of James Nam, the famous guy.
Yeah. That was
the famous Five Fingers of Death martial arts movie star.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. He was actually Korean, but he played in a lot of Chinese films.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody out there remembers Five Fingers of Death. That was like just before Bruce Lee came out. Five Fingers of Death. There was a couple other films that were very popular, I remember. And then of course, the Bruce Lee came, and then everything exploded in terms of martial arts films. But we met this gentleman who was a star a long time ago, and he was already retired, and he kind of lived in Los Angeles, and he basically sold furniture and any other things that he could, but he still had that dream in his heart, right?
Yeah.
He still wanted to be an actor. He still wanted to make movies. So he actually worked closely with Mom to help produce her first film, and she never thought she would ever become a producer, right? Yeah.
No, I was thinking, but that encouraged me to become a producer. But what happened is he wants us to stunt everything. He told me women's supposed to jump in the pool, so he let me jump into I'm not good at the swimming, but he let me jump in the pool. Then also everything's done, real stunt. Remember?
Oh, the stunt.
Yeah. So what happened is he.
Well, no. Okay, we were trying to make this project called Impact Zone.
Yeah, crane.
Yeah.
Then let the hanging, person in the crane.
Yeah.
It's just like a Hong Kong style.
Oh,
everything is.
So what mom's saying is, when we were doing this movie, we were doing a trailer to get more funding, and the project was called Impact Zone. So we actually did a casting call. Yeah, the story was basically about secret agents and about North Koreans infiltrating the U.S. and how the FBI and martial arts instructors had to join together to stop this group of spies coming in. And so it was kind of a fun, zany martial arts film. And Mr. Nam wanted to shoot it very guerrilla style, using a 16 millimeter camera, just shooting right there, and then moving to a next place, shooting another place, and then going to the Dodger Stadium and then shooting there illegally so that he could get the crowd. So it was
I was
hilarious.
so determined to make a film, so I went to karate, Shotokan karate. I took classes for many years because I want to make a film, like a martial art film. So that was a university. I took at least over 5 years. So almost got the black belt. But, determined to make a movie, I had to go through those things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but tell us about Mr. Nam. I mean, he was a pretty crazy guy. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I think he really liked you too at one point.
Yeah, I know. His wife was stuck on us because we were there to make a film.
Yeah. His wife got jealous, right?
Yeah, I think so. So one day he called me, say, "You know what? Now I live in the car." I said, "Why?" His wife chased him out.
Yeah, I ever heard
because of
with a knife or something
yeah,
like that.
He threatened with a knife.
He was over him. He described that one day. He told us the story. He says he was sleeping, and then he was like laying in bed, and then he felt somebody on top of him, and next thing you know, it was his it was his wife with a knife at his throat over him, going, "Why are you seeing that woman? Why are you seeing?" I mean, they were already in their like late 40s or 50s already. So still, she was very jealous. It was crazy.
Hilarious. Anyway.
But he was a big movie star at one point. And so, tell us a little bit about where you went to go film and how he had you do acting and stuff.
Yeah, he spontaneously he wanted me to become his wife on the film and
make believe, right?
Make believe and no plan, no pre-production, nothing. He just go out there, shooting right, just like Hong Kong style, right?
Yeah, Hong Kong style, very independent.
But I had fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. I remember that time. It was crazy. And so, my brother Patrick, who was in the film industry, mom's son, of course, he was actually a banker who actually helped finance some films at the time. And he suggested we should do a documentary, a reality show. At that time, I think it would have been very successful if we took his advice.
Also, remember we started one movie, Impact Zone. No, not Impact Zone. The other one. What was... Judge Ryan.
Judge Reinhold, the actor. Yeah, we actually got him to do Camp
Ninja.
Camp Ninja, yeah. So we're set on doing this martial arts film. So, but as you know, that the whole purpose of why we're explaining this is because at a certain point, after we did a couple more films, all small, independent kind of fun films, I had the opportunity to do a big film called Dragon Wars, which was...
No, before that you jumped a story because we went to Korea, KBS.
Oh, yeah.
To try get the funding,
Productions. Yeah, so just to let you know the background, let the audience know, this was during the time, and I think this was like 2000, like year 2000 actually. And I think this was before 9/11 happened, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then at that time, there was already the first evidence of the Hollywood wave. The Hollywood wave, let me explain to you folks out there, is actually the first wave of Korean filmmakers, cinema that was kind of coming out from Korea. And a lot of it had to do with the reason being is because the government... At that time, the government that was in power in Korea, in South Korea, really wanted to invest a lot into the entertainment industry.
Yes.
And so I remember I met some of the people who were part of that. And this was even before like all this K-drama or K-drama shows and also K-pop, all that was before that. So we actually, not to toot our horns, but we were part of that first process, right?
Wave,
yeah. And I remember we went to Korea and we talked to some producers who were part of KBS, which was the huge television network up there, pitching projects and talking story. And so there was an influx of a lot of funding coming in. And so one of the films... Oh, you want to explain a little bit more? Well, actually, go ahead.
Which one is that?
Oh, well, actually, you were talking about meeting with the KBS person.
Yeah, then they could scratch head and what is that about?
The Camp Ninja.
Yeah, so Camp Ninja about, forest and, we was going to hire Kerry Takawa as a sensei.
The actor.
And we had actors, so we had a good idea. But I guess they were just the beginning, so they didn't understand.
Yeah.
So we couldn't really convince them with co-production.
Mm-hmm.
So we came back, then we tried to get the finance from my son, youngest son, Patrick. Meantime, he was working at the Imperial Bank. So we were almost ready to, ready to start pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that there is so weird things happen between actors. They, kind of a misunderstand and disagreement. That's everything fall apart. So that's the first movie we really had a chance.
Yeah, that was huge. Okay, so we can skip ahead a little bit. Maybe within a year later or something, after Mr. Nam, had a great opportunity to work on the first big budgeted Korean film that actually was shot majority of it in America, which a lot of it was called a movie called Dragon Wars. So I was actually one of the co-producers of the project. But at that time, that was kind of the first wave, and then after that, we got to do K-pop videos. That was the first of it. And this, you got to remember, this was back in early 2000s. Even before the what happened with that epidemic. And we can't really say it on air too much, but because they'll tag you if you say certain words. But what it is that before the epidemic, there was like a lot of Korean cinema culture was kind of forming to be exported into the world. And so we met, and so with the Dragon Wars film, I met another Korean celebrity actually who was leading the way. His name was Mr. Hyung Rae Shim. Very famous comedian, very talented man, and he was a director, producer. He helped get all the financing together to make this movie, which used American actors like Jason Behr and Robert Forster. I think it was Robert Forster. And so, and my mom was actually making another film at the same time with Young Man Kong.
I know that was a good experience. And
Yeah.
I know all about how to make a independent film. Then from the beginning to end up to film festival. So no matter what, it's just you gotta make a good quality film. To make a good quality film, you need a capital. We
Yeah,
realize
a lot
that.
of money.
So then we went to. So I hope our movie become just popular. I sent, I think, around the 50 different country to try begging to play our films, but good movie is a good movie.
Yeah.
We didn't go, further. So I learned my lesson. In the meantime, grandma's yelling at me. "Oh, you're pursuing as a dream, just like nothing out there. You're just catching a cloud." So she used to tell me that, and you never learn anything until you fail many times.
Yeah, fail many times, and we're still trying to catch that cloud in a way. But but we have to always work. So just to let you know a little bit of the story. So Dragon Wars was actually produced, and it became the #1 film actually in Korean history at that time. It was released 2006, but it was in production for like a couple of years before. But through that process, even though it was a big film and I was a producer on it, my life wasn't very happy, and then my mother would always call me and say, "What's wrong with you? You should be happy making a film." And I come to realize that at that point, the filmmaking wasn't so much the happiness that I sought for. The realization was, was to settle down, find someone special in my life to marry and stuff. And I thought, and so those are the things that kind of was really at the core of my being. But then I was a partier too, so going out there and partying and living that Hollywood lifestyle, it drove my mother crazy because she was like worried about me, and she's not into any drugs or alcohol or anything. She's always had a very clean life, and she couldn't understand why people, especially as a Korean mother, would even take drugs or alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
So this is, just like as a mother, then I see the little bit, my son, walk into darkness. Like, I can hear he is distant from me. And so I know right away something, instinct told me, mother. And I know something going not right.
Yeah.
So I kept calling him. Sometimes, I don't want to go further with all those journeys, but
Yeah, I mean, you gotta read the book. But it was during that time that I think the important thing about why we're telling that story is because there's hope for everyone out there. There's a big problem now, obviously, with homelessness.
Yeah.
all over the place, and a lot of people tell me, "Hey, Dennis, I couldn't believe you were homeless in L.A. I mean, you don't seem that type." Well, everybody starts from somewhere, right? And for me, the not to blame drugs, but it is part of that process that a person goes through. That you eventually lose hope, you eventually lose everything in your life, you eventually lose the people that are part. And the funny thing is, the strange thing is that when I look back, there's this spiritual darkness. And maybe a lot of people say that, but there surely is something that kind of grabs a hold of you, be it the addiction, be it the darkness, be it what it is, that kind of pushes you to do that over and over again.
Yeah, just like addiction runs our family too. A long time ago, my mother, my grandparents, they was in heroin. And at the time, they are, affluence. The young band, right? It's kind of a high society at the time. They was kind of a heroin addict, opium addict. My mother, in fact, told me that she ministry that how to shut that opium.
Oh, so she used to administer to her parents.
Yeah.
How to shoot the drug into.
She didn't know there was she thought it's harmless medicine.
This is our great-great-grandmother.
Yeah. Then also my sister comes to my elder sister was in heroin.
Yeah.
And of suicide. So this is family darkness, That's the only thing I learned my lesson through divine intervention, like Christ saved you guys,
Yeah, so because to make a long story short, my mother pleaded, for to God, and she wasn't a very strong Christian at that time, but miracles happen, and sometimes they happen over time, and at that time, I mean, I could tell the folks out there like a lot of supernatural stories that happened because of her prayers. Unbeknownst to me, she was praying for me like crazy prayers, like how Koreans pray. Many of you probably know a friend who's Korean who are a churchgoer, but I mean, you're talking about like 5 a.m. prayer, 6
that what
days
happened
a week.
Is that I went to Alamana with my sister and some former, my workers. Then they kind of gotten old. Then she say, "Onni means sister. How come you look so worried and you look so old? And how come, what happened?" So I have to tell about truth about my son's addiction. He was in and out of rehab. So.
And for Asian families, it's hard.
Yeah, so she told me, you gotta come to our church, and it's morning prayer at 5:00 in the morning. So you gotta join with our prayer team. We pray for your son. So I end up the Kali church, Lilia Street. That's a church. I went to 5:00 every morning, continually about, I guess, 6 weeks. Then I can see a little bit spiritual. My mind is clear. Then and then the ending, I guess God heard my prayer.
Yeah,
I was desperate.
Yeah, I mean, but so from my end, the receiving end, right? Even though I didn't know my mother was praying at that time, and this is back in 2005, I kind of gave up on the movie career. My personal relationship with a girl just didn't work out, and then I was depressed, and then I was a part of one of the most successful movies in Korean history, and yet towards the end of when post-production started, I walked out. And my mother said, what are you doing walking out? I said, well, I just don't like it. I don't like what's happening with this. But the real thing was because of the addiction. I chose to live that lifestyle and gave up that movie career, even though I still have credit on there. But and in that process, when you were praying, so we kind of skipped this whole part, but I'm just kind of filling in. in the process of my mom praying, the interesting thing was I saw her. I saw her maybe at the street corner here and there. I was thinking, wow, this is kind of weird. Why am I seeing her here and there? And then there would be like supernatural feelings, or like I would be able to see certain things in the visible world that were there that I didn't realize was there. Like I would see some homeless people, and they would have some sort of a spirit in them that would recognize me. And then I recognized them as something that wasn't, like, I don't know, demonic or whatever. But then why was I seeing this? And I was thinking, this must be the hallucination from the drugs,
Biggest thing is really helped him come out of that darkness is actually help a lot of pastors and local pastors in Hawaii. Pray for you.
Yeah.
So that's why this book is A Girl from Busan. Subtitle is A Mother's Prayer. So anybody out there struggle with addiction, their family members, should read this book. So I went through all the turmoil with you as dealing with you have a son.
That's one of the stories in the book, of course. But it's an epic memoir novel. So that's why I was saying that. I was thinking about making a movie about the supernatural stuff. But anyways, writing the script. So
a lot of times when you mention that, I say, you're on drug. You're high on drug. And I used to scold him.
Yeah, but in the practical standpoint.
But it came to me too.
Yeah.
I could see the vision.
Yeah.
Somehow God gave me direction.
So in other words, she saw the same entities that I saw. Like in a dream or a vision, she saw the same kind of weird demonic forces that were part of that. So I'm not saying that that was a good thing or bad thing, but it was like a warning, like kind of like when she started praying, I believe the angels were there in my life to get me out of the situation, and at that time, because of the living on the streets and stuff, my hands were infected from drug use, and then ended up at Cedar Hospital. But it was really quick because my mom's prayers, I believe, helped save me from that situation. And then I kind of realized, I got to give God a chance in my life. Not go for things that are that of this world. So the process took a long time, right, to heal. Yeah. So, anyways,
so it problem
it's
is,
all in the book, by the way.
Our
too,
problem is, these people, young generation, dealing.
Well, it's
with
worse now for many people.
So they want to be famous. They want to make a lot of money, and that's illusion. Sometimes you should sit back. It's not the only way to satisfies your life, and there's a lot of things you can do, help others. Like we went to Haiti, remember? So mission work. So first things first, I told him, okay, just take a step back. You gotta.
Oh no, okay. So we gotta kind of back up a little bit. So there was a healing process.
Yeah, healing process.
So
yes.
Coming back to Hawaii after being in the hospital. For infections, basically, there's the healing process. I mean, there's a lot of story there.
Yeah, because
but we're talking about Hollywood.
Now we're coming to.
So we can talk more about that later. But the bottom line is, no matter what, I think, we want to be able to tell, and then maybe next episode or the subsequent episode, the miracle of how God really affected our lives, and that there is something beyond this world that we cannot explain.
Actually, your grandma, my mother, she's a churchgoer, so she told me how to become more spiritual, life I should live, and just like she always called me, material things on the temporary. You should really your son guide to. Introduce church and come to the people, and Jesus Christ help a hand out to someone need. That's my mother always told me, how to, straight his life through the Christ. That's what really, that's why it's a mother's prayer. I got little, just learn from her. So she's not here anymore, no longer, but that's the lesson I learned.
Yeah, so we're promoting the book, so she lifts it up every once in a while because we're obviously promoting the book, which is a good thing because we want to be able to use the proceeds not only to, help, pay for this podcast, but also to help, the Maui fires. We decided to take a portion of the book sales to be able to help some of the churches that have been burned down in Maui. So that's why we're blatantly trying to promote the book. So forgive us if we do so.
No, the church, you had a connection with that church. 1 week before you visit the church.
We can go back into that too, yeah.
That's we have reason.
Yeah. Yeah, so what she's talking about is that we were in Maui like 2 weeks before the fires. We were visiting and filming at Waiola Church, which was one of the churches that did burn down 2 weeks later. And so I think we got one of the last footages of the church before it burned down. So anyways, but we'd like to help. But we're hoping that, we were working on several projects. Some of them didn't work out where we couldn't raise money because there were some things that actually happened. But there's other opportunities, and we hope that God blesses the raising of funds to help the churches. Yeah. So anyways, I think we're good. I think we talked about a lot of things that we needed to, and I feel like that there's a lot more to tell, but I think that is a whole subject in itself. The process of healing. One of the things that we like to do with this podcast is not only talk about entertainment and fun and all that kind of stuff, but we also want to talk about things that are relevant to this world, especially in this world, modern world. In Hawaii, there's major homelessness problem, but it's all over the country now, and I think it comes from the lack of belief and the lack of having God in the schools and lack of acknowledging God for who He is. Instead, there's the worship of worldly things, of things that that we're all kind of involved in, and even in the entertainment industry, which is a source of a lot of this, that negative things. So I think it's important to, and I feel that it's very important to always put God in a place where He is the one that really helps us divinely. And if we acknowledge that, we understand that, and we understand that He is the King and the sovereign King of all of us, as human beings, I think, the world would be a better place, So, anyways, the Hollywood dream was something that we pursued, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that if you're going to pursue that, pursue it with intention in mind that it's a business. Don't pursue it because you want to get a girl or a guy, or you want to have power over people, or you want to be famous, or you want to be that. I think it takes a lot of hard work, and one of the lessons that we learned that is very, very important is really hone your craft. Really focus on the craft of acting and the craft of filmmaking, and go to school for it. And and just be realistic that if you don't have the talent to be able to do that, just recognize it and just go do something else. There's a lot.
When you were in the beginning part that in Hollywood, and you went to many auditions, sometimes 12, 13, 14 auditions you went through every day. You get one lucky at the time.
Yeah.
Asian at the time wasn't that demand.
Yeah, that's true. Now they're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, so we'd like to wrap it up right now and just,
Is it long enough?
I think so.
We have to talk about hour.
No, because see, each one of the podcasts that we're doing, ladies and gentlemen out there, is an experiment. In the sense of like we're new to this and we're just trying to talk about things that are relevant, but trying to help people along the way through the information that we give and the life experiences that we have. So that's why I think we're not savvy at this. We haven't been doing it that long, but please forgive us, and we hope that you stay tuned for our next episode.
Yeah.
The next episode, we're hoping to bring in, some guests that have not yet said yes yet,
no.
but we're hoping that they'll say yes.
Director.
Yeah. Maybe even director Young Man Kong,
Yeah.
from LA. Yeah, that'd be great. So anyways, we'd like to thank you folks. My mom would like to thank you and say goodbye to everyone.
Okay. Bye. See you next time.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.